All right, what's up? My name is Tara Devlin. What are you doing? How you doing? All right, how's it sounding? How's it looking? I know there's a picture of Stephen Miller on the screen. That's disgusting. I'm sorry about that. Okay, we meet here every Tuesday and Thursday on the Political Voices Substack and YouTubes, the series of tubes called The U. And on Friday night, we have our Friday night get-together at the Tarabuster YouTube channel, youtube.com/seafoodchannel/Tarabuster, and also on APS Radio and APS Radio News. APS Radio is a little app. You download it, classic rock and oldies all day long. That's Charlie, our good friend who supports the show, and the community cats that I take care of in my spare time, or I help take care of. And so does Charlie. He bought them winter shelters and continues to keep them well fed, and we care for them. So thank you, Charlie, for all you do. And if you just want to get an escape, check out APS Radio, download the little app, classic rock and oldies all day long. It's not an app, it's just it's like an Apple iTunes app that connects you to the radio station, classic rock and oldies. Okay. And you know, he's a good friend, so he's just supplying a service for people because he likes that. And there's also APS Radio that has other independent liberal voices. Yes, thank you, Jim. Sub, like. Okay, let's get started. We have an hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's keeping it tight, keeping it real. It's really, I do appreciate you guys indulging me. You know, it is a Tarabuster. So I'm trying to get better at just sticking to the, you know, we do go all over the place sometimes. But it's about connecting the dots, really. This is what we do here. We have that time to connect the dots that the corporate media doesn't bother to do, frankly. You know, what really gets me, well, I guess we can start here, because what I should have grabbed these clips when I was watching MS Now, you know, it's not MSNBC anymore. And I was watching Stephanie Rule, and I love some of the shows there, you know, Rachel and Lawrence O'Donnell is great, I think, in my opinion. And but Stephanie Rule, she's all right, but she falls into the category of enabler, in my opinion. What she does, but just by taking Trump's word for it, by saying, almost, you know, as if he's not lying to our faces. I mean, at this point, here, let me get this tweet up that he put up. This embarrassing, disgusting, you know, this is how we do diplomacy now. This is how world affairs run on Traitor Trump's Tripe Social, on his lie. I don't know what you do on Tripe Social. I guess it's you vomit on Tripe Social? What do you do? Oh, that's Twitter. Twitter, it's, I don't know. Somebody will figure it out. But just this, the misspelling of which, yet again, oh no, this is the wrong one. Fuck, I had the wrong tweet up. There, here it is. It's this one. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations. Here's Tara Jr. Sorry, guys. He was dead asleep until he heard the show start, so he came over to produce. So, let's see. A complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue through the week. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any military strikes and on power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I don't know when did he start this thank you for your attention to this matter shit. It was not in the first maladministration. It was in this maladministration. It's like he read a basic grammar guide from I guess high school, because that's what it reminds me of, where you were taught as a high schooler to write form letters or business letters, and you would say, in this circumstance, you would write to whom it may concern, or dear sir, or dear sir and madam, or whoever, right? And then at the end, you say, thank you for your attention to this matter. It's very juvenile, and it doesn't make him seem any more official or capable of doing a job, because he's not capable. It's a disgrace to this country, and we're living in the Baghdad Bob moment of the American decline. We can't trust this maladministration to tell you whether the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. No one believes them. And this has been a long-term project of the Republican Party, because you can't get away with destroying the grand experiment in liberal democracy without fomenting mistrust among the people. You know, this is all, what we're witnessing is the result of end-stage capitalism. It's the result of Republican policies that turned the United States from the most to the least upwardly mobile, from the slightest income gap to the widest income gap of all Western democracies. These are the stats that I've been screaming about for years, since I became politically aware. And in the first maladministration, when the middle class fell below 50% of the population, that didn't even make a blip on the corporate media. So tell me what the priorities are for this corporate media, you know. And right underneath this, you know, what this traitorous bastard writes on Tripe Social, Barack Obama is the reason President Trump had to buy Iran. Never forget that. Okay, keep telling yourself that, baboons and flying monkeys. This is the maladministration. This is the misinformation that is churning out there in a country. And it goes back to what I'm talking about, mistrust. They started, the divisiveness of this country can be traced back to, and I hate to say it, well, it was the Telecommunications Act. Reagan started the deregulation of the media, and Bill Clinton put the nail in the coffin with the Telecommunications Act of '96, which gave us Rush Limbaugh and Fox News and the silos of information that people go to get their news. That's why we can have this. That's why half the country is still in a cult. Not half. It's less than half. Thank God. But it will never go below 35% because of the 35% authoritarian follower personality trait. Some people are just incapable of functioning in a free democratic society. It's just the bottom line. They would much rather have a daddy save them from the scary, complex world of others who don't know their place. And that's what it's about. Like, because our system requires a level of decency and maturity to show up, especially in a country of 320 million, a nation of immigrants. I know Republicans hate that. They hate the very essence of what it means to be an American. Most people, I think that's what makes America great. You know, this whole notion of American exceptionalism used to be understood as partly that we are a nation of immigrants, that we attract the best in the world. They come here to contribute to the American dream. And what was the American dream? It wasn't that you too could be an entrepreneur or be rich and become a billionaire like Elon Manchild Musk, and therefore kick down on your fellow Americans, lower on the ladder, and suck on the government teat without as much as even a thank you. It was that you too, that everyone deserves a decent middle class life. That if you're going to have a business in America, and you should pay living wages, that there's an expectation because of regulation, that we regulate businesses to treat people with decency, dignity, and respect, because it's good. It's freedom. It's good for society. That's what freedom is. You know, what's freedom? In Magatville, the freedom to be a dick to people. That's what they think freedom is. The freedom to misgender somebody, to be an asshole, to not without consequences. You know, they could always be that, and they will always be that because they can't help it. But it's the consequences. They want to be relieved of the burdens of being an adult. You know, when you're an adult, you're expected to act like an adult. No, well, I guess not anymore, because we have the biggest, most disgusting man baby to ever disgrace the Oval Office, and that's why it's such a disgusting statement on us. Okay, when he puts these tweets out, and what happened was after he triped that, or sharded, or whatever they do on Tripe Social, that he was in talks, very good talks with Iran. We know that he was doing it to manipulate the markets, because that's all that matters in Magatville. It's not the blood. It's not the chaos. It's not the death of democracy itself and spitting on the graves of everyone who ever gave their last full measure of devotion to this thing. Right? That's what really bothers me the most. When I think of all the actual patriots who shed blood and gave their lives for democracy so we could have the right to vote, so we could have the freedom that they were hoping to leave for their posterity, right? That this is what they're destroying. Republicans are spitting on their graves. Oh, but they sure love the stolen valor, though, right? They sure love to praise the military up the hilt, like Lindsey Graham. We'll get to that in a minute. But we know that right before, what was it? When, you know, Trump threatened to bomb Iranian power plants if they didn't open the Strait of Hormuz, which we all know, you know, Trump says, oh, nobody knew that was going to happen. I guess because he's a baboon. Everybody knew what was going to happen. But you see, it doesn't matter to somebody with his kind of mental illness. He's a malignant narcissist, you know, in my armchair Psych 101, well, 201 analysis. And he is running the war. First of all, we heard reports that he said that he wanted to do it. He just wanted to. You know, like a baby. I want ice cream for breakfast. I want to. Give it me. Give me, me. Gimme, mommy, right? And he's surrounded by disgusting sycophants that really look at Mein Kampf as an owner's manual and a step-by-step instruction book, of course, and not as a warning. And of course they're going to give the baby baboon whatever it wants, because they're just as disgusting as he is, including Marco Rubio, right? I mean, when you think about how Marco Rubio was confirmed with 100% of the vote, that makes me sick. Just like last night, Mark Wayne Mullen, another unfit disgrace to the office of everything that we hold dear in America, became the Secretary of Homeland Security. Mark Wayne Mullen. who has no business being a senator, much less have more responsibility in this volatile bunch of fascists, mass fascists who have no bounds, who are unleashed lawlessly, who have already killed American citizens in the street. And 2 Democrats crossed over to vote for him. I don't know. To me, that says, as far as Chuck Schumer is concerned, to me, it's like, do you people understand the assignment? Does Chuck Schumer understand what we're up against? I don't think so. If he can't wrangle his caucus, right? How come the MAGAts, they always vote in lockstep? I know that they're a cult and a lost cause and a greed-centered death cult. So I guess it's like comparing oranges to a box of nails or hammers. But if you're such a great leader, Chuck Schumer, wouldn't you think that would be one of the things you could do, is keep your caucus together? Threaten them. Say, we're not going to give you any funding from the DNC or whatever it might be to Fetterman, this waste of a vote that people came to his rescue in his time of need. But the only good thing about that is that Fetterman's approval rating is in the shitter. So, but it doesn't matter. We still got him. He's still in there. But if you can't keep your caucus together, so what good are you, Chuck Schumer? So to me, it's like, that's what's so frustrating about living in this timeline too. It's the Democrats, are they up to the task? I know some are. And they're our only hope at this point to vote Democratic because of the system we have. But Chuck Schumer, he needs to go away. He needs to, if he doesn't want to leave his job as a senator, you don't even have to be the leader of the you don't have to be the minority leader. Get somebody else in there who has a spine and knows how to keep this caucus together. It's like, enough. Haven't we endured enough with Kristen Sinema and Manchin? I guess not. Now we got Fetterman. I don't know. And they act like this is some, it's like when Obama was president, he had the habit of saying the fever would break, until the last half of his second administration, where he realized the fever's not breaking. And he started signing executive orders. And, of course, then the MAGAts, who were called teabaggers at the time, whined and farted and bitched and moaned that he wanted to be a king. But now that we have an actual wannabe dictator who puts pictures of himself in a crown, hail to the king, and tweets out or farts out movies of him literally shitting on Americans, while wearing a crown, they think that's A-okay. And can do no wrong, too, even though the maggot can do no right. The corruption is right in front of our faces. Right before the, this bullshit. This is, even, I'm not a day trader. I'm not a money manager. I don't know business. I don't claim to. But as soon as I saw this post that he was saying, oh, we're in talks with Iran, I knew it was nothing but financial and market manipulation. This is what he does. Okay? Trump threatened to bomb the Iranian power plants if Iran didn't open the Strait of Hormuz in 48 hours. Of course, Trump always chickens out. And he calls it off. On Monday, he says, we've had productive negotiations with Iran, which Iran then publicly denied was happening. So what happened was around 15 minutes before this reversal, there was a sharp isolated spike in S&P 500 E-mini futures, it's called. I was reading this article from Paul Krugman. Where is it? Let me see. Not that one. Oh, Tara Jr. Why? Here we go. Oh, to be Tara Jr. Jr. Right? You just want treats. You don't know. I mean, sometimes I look at my cats and I'm like, how beautiful it must be to never know that Donald Trump shares the same air with you. Right? Oh, that's TDS. You have TDS. I'll get some MAGAts will post on my feed or whatever. And to which I will respond that TDS, oh yeah, it exists, but like MAGAts with everything, they have it exactly backwards. TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is thinking that a tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator, con man, baboon with a fake university, multi-level marketing vitamin scam, who can't spell, but had all the best education in the world, but still can't spell, doesn't know when to use which or your or YOU apostrophe RE, all right, TOO, all these mysteries of the universe. But he's gonna dictate what's gonna happen in the world for us, right? The whole world is gonna go down in flames because of this baboon. So, but that's Trump derangement syndrome, thinking that thing, who is a sick person, a sociopath, a psychopath, a pathological liar, who's all over the Epstein files, abusing children. Trump derangement syndrome is thinking that thing is fit to lead. And it goes down to, see, I don't hate myself that much to put somebody so manifestly unfit in charge of me and my society. I love my country too much to do that. That's why I don't understand. I can't fathom it. And it has to be classified. MAGA is a mental disease at this point. There's no getting around it. It's a mental illness, because suckers are born every minute. Trumpanzees are living proof, but it's a sickness. Magotry is a sickness. It's the cultural, what's the word? Cultification, I guess, or the normalization of ignorance and cruelty. This is what the media does. They normalize the ignorance and cruelty and wrapped it in some kind of political ideology. Like it was a thoughtful, measured political ideology on par with the rest of political ideologies that are actually trying to make the world a better place. Or not every political ideology, clearly, but I mean, what is it? It's a cult of grievance, bigotry, and projection. Moral rot. An absolute moral rot disguised as some kind of value. That's your value. It's selfishness. That's what it is. That's why they have to scream and fart about how Christian they all are, how they're doing it for Jesus. And they wear their Christianity, their fake Christianity, on their sleeves and around their necks with their giant crosses or giant cross earrings, because they're not Christian. If Jesus came back, they'd crucify him again. These are the same people who whined and farted and bitched and moaned about how character counts during the Clinton years. I'm old enough to remember that, how they went on about how, oh, what were they going to tell my children about Bill Clinton what are you going to tell him about Trump? You bring your little brat to the Nuremberg rallies, and you watch the most powerful baboon POS on the planet call women fat pigs and make fun of, just make fun of disabled people. And he just tweeted out or farted out how he was glad Bob Mueller was dead. What a disgusting... Wait. One good turn deserves another. The most anticipated obituary on earth. Trust me. That's going to be a great getting up morning, legally and peacefully. It really is. But you see, that's why magatry is a mental illness that has no business being in the halls of power in a country that is trying to be a free nation of constitutionally limited democratic republic, a nation that has the motto, I mean, the founders gave us the motto, e pluribus unum, out of many one. Sounds like magatry is the direct opposite of that. You see, that's what this is how the corporate media should frame it. You know, they played that woman going to the gas pump saying, do you have any message for Donald Trump? Yeah, my message is you're a piece of shit. That was her message. I voted for you 3 times. I guess I'm an idiot. That's what she said. Yeah, you guess? You're worse than that. You have a moral sickness, a spiritual sickness, that you don't give a shit about anybody else but yourself until your gas prices are too high. That was your red line. It wasn't the 34 felonies, the insurrection, the 1 million dead. You know, we can all go back to how he mishandled the pandemic, leaving office as with America a land of mass graves. A president who did that should never be near the halls of power again. And then started an insurrection because he's not man enough to respect the peaceful transfer of power. That was okay for you, woman and lady, whatever the hell, and the rest of you maggots, until your gas prices went up. And trust me, if the gas prices go down, they'll be fine with it again. This is the enabling of the illness, the disease in the body politic of the American experiment. Selfishness, greed. It's all the same thing, ultimately. That's the only American value now. And that's not okay. A country and it all ties together. Having no, not just no trust, no respect for each other. When you're selling merch, drinking the tears of your fellow Americans, you really are on the wrong side of humanity. You're not a patriot, right? Because the bottom line is, we're not trying to drink their tears. We're trying to make sure that they have a functioning society, that even they, have a decent life. We're not targeting them. In fact, it's quite the opposite. That's why I'm so sick of dealing with them. I'm sick of the enabling. And then they turn around and blame Democrats for everything. When it's the evil. They're all, it's just, the whole thing can be traced to a corporate media, a propagandized media, that takes this baboon at face value. Oh, who do you think Trump could be talking with in the Iranian leadership? When he said that he was talking to a president said, oh, I wish I had done that. I wish I had bombed Iran. Oh. And it's not like you got to go interview thousands of people and figure it out. And then that's because he's a liar. There's 4 former presidents. And But we had to spend a certain amount of the news cycle pondering who it could be and whether he's telling the truth. No, you don't frame a pathological liar, a malignant narcissist, piece of dirt in any other light than what he is. To do so is an insult to the American people and is why we're in this boat right now to begin with. Right? I mean, magotry is nothing but moral rot disguised as values. That's their value, right? They have, family values when they do nothing for the family but make families stressed out, isolated, have no social safety net, suspicious, fearful, can't take a fucking day off. That's your family values. That's your Republican family values. I don't know about you. I'm sick of it. Oh, what's this behind there? It's unbelievable. But not unexpected, right? Let me say something here. Where are you guys? I lost you. Yeah. Oh, God. I'm just reading some of the chat. Hi, nice to see you, Andrea, in the chat. So, where was I? Where the hell was I? Oh, yeah, going through Krugman's article. Hold on a second. But there is no doubt. I wrote an article about it on the Political Voices Substack, how they were profiteering. Hold on. Get down, little one. How the MAGAts were profiteering on the strike on Iran. So there's no doubt in my mind that right before he does this, he's getting on the phone to his son. And his ill-gotten, well, not ill-gotten, who fucking knows, his spawns. He's getting on the phone to his spawns. He's getting on the whatever to the whoever's, and he's giving them inside information about what he's about to do. Excuse me. So, you think he could be like, oh, no, that's insider trading. I can't give you any information. That's insider trading. That would be unethical. That would be illegal. Of course that's what he's doing. No one is this lucky. They predict precisely when trades are going to be made, when he's going to announce his bullshit. He called it up. What happened? Let me see. So, of course, what Krugman says, and there it is, right in the chart, that someone close to Trump used insider knowledge of his Iran decision to buy stocks, knowing that the markets would rally. Well, this is what he does. He's been doing this. But again, I have to go back to what's wrong with us. Why are we continuing as a species to give someone so manifestly unfit the power to manipulate our markets, the power to send anyone into harm's way, and then when they come home in flag-draped coffins, to fundraise over them, over their dead bodies, and give thumbs ups over their graves? What the hell is wrong with us as a species, allowing that to continue? At this, at that point, it's not about the maggot or about Trump himself. It's about us, right? I mean, as I always point out, I wouldn't put somebody who hates cats in charge of my cats if I were going away, or take my cats to a vet. Give the power to somebody who hates cats, who, you know, a vet who hates cats. You know, I guess there are some. I wouldn't imagine I would take my, you know, my beloved animals to them. And I would think, my beloved country, you don't put your beloved anything in the hands of morons. And people have no decency. So the whole thing, that's what I mean, you know, it's just horrible. Trump is the worst person he ever met. Even a horrible person can. And what do we want to go that they're trying to stop us from voting? That's what this so-called SAVE Act is about. And it's not a SAVE Act, it's just Saving Trump's Ass Act. And that's what the Democrats should market it as. I saw, this is another thing that drives me crazy about Democrats. They need to listen to this show and take the talking points. Because I was watching one of the Democrats on one of the corporate media shows, and she was using the Republican language to describe the challenges, saying, oh, because of the big, beautiful bill, we, over 1 million people, millions of people are getting kicked, 2 million already in the past month lost their health insurance because of Traitor Trump's big, ugly bill, not the big, beautiful bill. And when you talk about the SAVE Act, you don't call it the SAVE Act. She actually called it the Save America Act. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, are you hopeless, Democrats? Everything starts with a message. No, it's not the Save America Act. It Saves Trump's Ass Act. Save the Republican Party Act from the consequences of their action. That's what it is. Save the party of personal responsibility from having any kind of consequence. It's another example of everything they're about. They just want to go rampage over our civilization, but they want no consequences. They don't want anybody to hold them account or to account, right? So yeah, and you can't tell me, you know, Traitor Trump, he's a crook. He's been a lifelong crook since his mother, that bitch of a mother, unleashed him on the planet. Unfortunately, during our timeline. What the hell? Who did we screw over in a past life to have to deal with this shit? But you see what I'm saying? Am I wrong here? Right? Exactly. Haha, David on the chat says, we need Roosevelt Democrats, not Reagan Republicans. That's the truth. And people who understand that this, you know, these aren't your buddies, Chuck Schumer. These aren't your pals. I can't stand seeing pictures of Chuck Schumer yucking it up with Rubio. There's a picture of them like, and it's in the picture, Rubio's wearing his two sizes too big shoes, which says everything about who they are. Vile. All of them. And you know, I don't know about you. Do you feel, what do you call it? Do you feel, I don't know what I'm looking at here. Do you feel like, do you get like, do you get a feeling of security listening to Chuck Schumer? Not me. Apparently this is something the Iranians released. Trolling America. Making it like a video game. Incredible, right? Because this is what Republicans have done. I don't blame them. I mean, what are you going to do? When you have Pete Hegseth and Traitor Trump releasing videos about turning war into a video game, what do you expect? Of course, one good turn deserves another, right? Well, here's Lindsey Graham, disgusting Lindsey Graham, who's really baying for blood in this war of choice to distract from the fact that Traitor Trump is all over the Epstein files committing crimes against children. Where'd it go? Hold on a second.
Complete what Biden started.
Oh, shut your hole.
As soon as we
Come on.
Iran defanged so they can...
It won't go backwards. What's going on here?
It's been obliterated, and they're running out of money. So here's what I tell President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Carg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil. Control that island. Let this regime die on a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Carg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground? Let me just read you something from The Atlantic. Does an assessment on that. They say U.S. troops may well take Carg Island. We believe in their ability to do so, but only to endure ballistic missile strikes, drone attacks, petrochemical smoke, all without a reliable means of obtaining logistical support. The result could be a grinding war of attrition. They talk about how far away they would be from resupply.
I'm sort of tired of all this armchair quarterbacking. This has been an amazing military operation. God bless the fallen.
But it's a difference when we talk about troops on the ground.
I trust the Marines,
fallen.
not that guy. I trust DOD. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing to this island. We did Iwo Jima. We can do this.
Look at him.
The Marines, my money's always on the Marines. I don't know if you take the island or you blockade the island, but I know this. The day we control that island, this regime, this terrorist regime, has been weakened. It will die on a vine.
Mark those words. The Battle of Iwo Jima. I mean, this is how disgusting these people are. It was the Battle of Iwo Jima was one of the bloodiest battles of World War II. So that says everything about what we're dealing with. The disgraceful, disgusting casualty, or casually, that's the word I'm looking for. How they casually think that we'll just waltz in without thousands of dead. It doesn't matter to them. Oh, God bless the fallen. Just a throwaway remark. God bless the fallen. Close to 7,000 Americans were killed in action at Iwo Jima. 26,000 casualties, and just total U.S. casualties, shaking those islands, 26,000 casualties over a month. And, of course, since we never mentioned the enemy dead, but in this battle, 21,000 Japanese died as well. So it was a real bloody hell that Lindsey is, you see his hips shake when he mentioned it? Get my grinder up. Let's go. Graham himself, of course, he never fought anything like Iwo Jima. And what is he talking about? The collective we? He was a JAG officer, a lawyer. I think he was in a reserve unit. Oh well, but clearly you never saw anything like combat on Iwo Jima. But that's not him. It's not his or his family or no one's gonna die that he cares about. He's not gonna die. He's gonna make good money, especially staying close to that corrupt baboon who's gonna slip him inside information. He's gonna buy those military stocks, those that have humanity hanging on a cross of iron. And what a distraction from the Epstein files. I mean, we got a big distraction. Imagine if there was a ground war. What a great distraction. Oh, well, you think that paying $7 for gas, I heard that in California, gas is already up to $7 a gallon. And just hold on to your hats, MAGAts. You're going to get the days you voted for. Unfortunately, everyone else has to go with them. You see, this is what irritates me about MAGAts, and I'm sick of it. They take everybody with them. And we've been under this tyrannical minority death cult for decades now. The whole system is set up to make conservatives, to give conservatives outsized portion of power, and it always has been. We've been entirely too nice to conservatives, the traitors who have periodically tried to overthrow the government of the United States. This isn't the first time they've done it. You know, since the Civil War, they're periodically trying to overthrow the government of the United States. They're getting pretty close this time. They tried in the Civil War. They tried in the 1930s to overthrow FDR with the business plot, which is something that we don't teach in history class, which should be taught in history class. Every American, if we were truly a functioning society, you know, maybe one day when we get rid of all these MAGAts, maybe, I hope so. I really do hope that we get to the point where the American people, you know, we're not trying to enable or make MAGAtry feel good. Not trying to rehab the Republican brand. The conservatives, really, are the problem here. But in 1933, they tried to overthrow FDR, and they went to a General Smedley Butler, the billionaires of that day, and the rich went to him because, you know, they didn't want to have to deal with FDR and his socialist policies, New Deal policies, and they wanted to make it just like what the Republicans are trying to do now, the veneer of democracy, but overarching a fascist-style dictatorship, using a coup led by this retired General Smedley Butler, Marine General. And he was approached by, I'm trying to think, wait, let me see. I'm looking it up. Who's the DuPonts, and who else was in there? The rich, you know, the robber barons of his day, many of whom owned newspapers. So this is how it went. And they went to Smedley Butler and they tried to recruit him to lead this coup against the government. And he listened intently and pretended to go along, but then he went and he blew the whistle to Congress. And instead of anything happening, Congress opened up an investigation into it. But what happened was the media outlets of the time started to disparage. They ran stories disparaging Butler as a kook and a nut. And, of course, this is fantasy. It's fake news. And this is how it went down the memory hole. But Butler testified under oath before one of the House special committees. I think it was called the House Un-American Activities Committee. They should reconstitute that committee if it's not already reconstituted, because nothing more un-American than Traitor Trump. That's what is so disgusting. Really, look at where we are. Who voted? How dare you vote for an insurrectionist? Shame on you. Eternal shame on every maggot who voted for this. I don't know. When you stick a microphone in front of their face, don't wait for them to say, I'm an idiot. I voted for this 3 times. the question should be, why are you such an idiot? What is it about you? What moral failing caused you to look at that thing who left the country as a land of mass graves and say, more, please, more of that, and the worst jobs record since Herbert Hoover? And even putting all that aside, let's say he didn't, leave us with the worst jobs record since Herbert Hoover. His antics in the office, and then his antics after losing the election, sending a mob to overthrow the peaceful transfer of power. That's inexcusable for anyone to vote for that. So I'm of the opinion that, the worst thing that happened to our country, one of the worst, money in politics and this corporate media that has us divided, that half the country is listening to Fox News. They think it's actually news. So they make him, they sane wash him. They make him seem palatable. I want to play, we only have 10 minutes left in the show, but where is this thing? Hold on a second. It's unbelievable. They had a meeting. The MAGAts had a meeting. And I put this on my Substack. Please subscribe to my Substack. It's up there where Boudica's grooming herself in the corner. Listen to this shit. I'm sorry to do this to you, but...
Of the work that President Trump is doing, not only in Memphis, not only in Washington, D.C., but all over the country, ultimately, it will save and is saving tens of thousands of American lives. It is, I'll use that word again, what President Trump has done on border security and public safety is a national miracle that will be studied not only for generations, but for centuries to come. Thank you, President Trump.
So, Cash, see if you can top that. I don't know. That's a tough one, Cash.
That is tough. You know, Mr. President, as I look around this venue, I see, and I'm reminded again, why we have the greatest warriors on God's green earth, the men and women serving in uniform, the men and women serving and wearing the badge, and law enforcement, our police, our sheriffs around the state of Tennessee. Wow. I'm reminded that Americans exist to protect this country day in and day out, and they've done it like we've done it here. But what we didn't have was you. We didn't have a commander-in-chief who backed the blue, who resourced the blue, who funded the military, who did whatever it takes to safeguard every single life. And here in Memphis, Tennessee, you have put on a show for the world. You have allowed us to go out there and capture gangbangers, rapists, murderers, drug dealers at record historic levels. And for me, a first-generation Indian-American kid whose parents fled a genocide in East Africa to become the 9th director of the FBI, I'm living the wildest dream you could possibly imagine, sir. But it's thanks to you. But more importantly, what I see when I look out across our great partners here in the interagency, and our great legislatures, and our great prosecutors, and our great attorney general who has the guts to go out there and make arrests, turn them into prosecutions, and put people in prison, you are giving that dream to every single child in the state of Tennessee. You are inspiring the nation and law enforcement to come up and wear the badge and wear the colors of this country and safeguard our men and women for generations to come. This is an enduring mission, Mr. President, because you have made it enduring. It is going to go on for generations to come. They're going to try to achieve what you accomplished here, what Stephen said, in just one short year, and they're going to be doing it for decades because America was smart enough to elect you as our commander-in-chief. So while we're out there fighting for the dreams of our children, just know, Mr. President, how many millions of dreams like mine are going to be lived thanks to your brilliant leadership. Mr. President, thanks for delivering America the safest country on God's green earth.
Thank you very much.
He really worked at that because Trump, he gave him a challenge. They can't meet actual challenges or meet the needs of the American people. All they can do is lick the already greased up ass of a con man who gives them the ability to ride around on jets and have he's got a nice girlfriend that'll leave him as soon as he is not the director of the FBI anymore and flying around on private jets on the taxpayer dime. Oh yeah, he's living the dream all right. But everything that they say, of course, is a lie. It is North Korea level cringe, and it is a disgrace. Even if they felt that, let's say it were true, okay? Let's do a thought experiment. It were true, everything were true that they were saying, that Traitor Trump was a great president. We would appreciate that, frankly. All of us would. Any self-respecting American who understands what the grand experiment in liberal democracy is all about wouldn't partake in such a tongue bath, because we don't do that here in America. This is a team effort. There's no kings in America. No dictators, no dear leader, no chief baboon. We're in this together. That's why we have co-equal branches of government. That's why Congress is higher than the executive. Supposedly, Congress has the purse strings. Not anymore, thanks to Republicans. Congress gets to declare war. Not anymore, thanks to Republicans. But to say that that Trump backs the blue and we can all live the dream and America's the greatest now, America is going in the wrong direction. Not that, and people believe that too, because it's true. But the whole effing world, they have disgraced us more and destroyed us more than any American enemy could ever hope to do. That's why all roads lead to Putin. The only person actually benefiting, well, besides the Trump crime family, is Putin. Trump made America worse by every measure. Every single measure. He even got the fucking Canadians to hate us. And to say, it's not just me slinging pejoratives, but to say they back the blue and love the troops. These are the people who repeatedly minimized, mocked, ignored the experiences of the Capitol Police, right? The Metropolitan Police Force, who were beaten defending Congress on January 6th. And then they tried to block the plaque. It's that whole thing is still a disgrace. They put the January 6th plaque in not in public view. They have publicly attacked the Capitol Police officers who defended America on January 6th as haters. And minimize, of course, their injuries, their trauma, just the trauma of being assaulted by MAGAts in a pitched battle, like a medieval style pitched battle of monsters, of maggot morons who hate America, trying to overthrow this country. And these effers all walk away scot-free and get power. Shame on you for voting for that. And, of course, every Republican voted against the American Rescue Plan that sent substantial money to local police departments to prevent layoffs and, back the blue. They defunded the police. Oh, boy. All right, guys, I can't believe it. That's the end of the show for today. Listen, we have a show on Thursday. Okay, Allison Butler is coming on. She's an author. And we're going to be discussing her books. Hold on. About, what's her book again? Well, come back on Thursday. It's about, it's a very good book. I was reading it. It's about gender and politics. So I think you will like it. Let's see, what's her book? See? The Judgment of Gender. See, I have it all set up. It's called The Judgment of Gender. Okay. Guys, thank you for hanging out. Like and subscribe. Do me a favor. Okay, tell your friends. Right? If you like the show. Do you like the show? Tell your friends. Subscribe to my Substack. Thank you, Jim, for keeping us safe in the chat, and everyone else for joining us on the Political Voices Network and on Substack. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. All right, my friends. That'll be it. Stick around. I'll see you on Thursday. All right, my friends. But in the meantime, I'll see you on Substack, because I'm generally on Substack during the week. So that's why I ask you to follow and subscribe to my Substack. If you can subscribe financially to the Substack, that helps too. We can get more shows, keep the show going and growing. And thank you to Charlie from APS Radio News for all you do. All right. All you do to make the world a better place. And thank you guys. All right. I appreciate it. Don't forget No Kings on Saturday. And I hope you got your No Kings pin. If you go to the Political Voices Network site, your No Kings lapel pin. Okay. Check it out. All right, my friends. Thank you for hanging out. And I will see you soon. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. And we will win. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you on Thursday.